Cabin time is winding down. Only 3 or 4 days left to go, and I'm heading back for Illinois. Been pretty nice cool spell the last 3 or 4 days, so I spent a lot of time over cutting down and peeling those tamarack logs for our future guest cabin. Yeah, I know. Planned in June, it's a no-no, but like I said, it's been a lot of cool days lately, and it feels pretty good. You see me, I'm got a few bugs and flies around, but I guess I've kind of gotten used to them. I'm going to head over and maybe cut down another tree, get it peeled, then go back to hunting around and enjoying cabin life. If practice makes perfect, I think I'm up for perfection, as much as I messed up yesterday. Trying the same operation. We're fighting the wind a little bit. Not too bad though. I've cut in here first and I put my wedges in the back. Now I'll cut my notch out here. And hopefully leave enough of a hinge I don't mess myself up. The goal is that tree gonna fall right into that very narrow chute that I have. I don't have much room for air, or it's gonna clobber another tree and then probably hang up. Well, that's working before I even drove the wedge in. I was just getting the camera set up here and she started to go. It's hung up a little bit right there, but I'm sure with the weight it's gonna keep crashing and come on down, but perfection. I left enough wood that time. That's where you see that splintered wood there. That's called the hinge, and that's what it is. It's a hinge, and then you can, with a proper hinge, you can really make a tree go some places it doesn't want to on its own. Well, the hardest, the trickiest part is done. Now all I need to do is peel all this bark off and go back to the cabin and take it easy. Spring is a nice time to peel. I think I better amend that last statement. That was the hardest part, not meaning that this peeling was easy. But it was a good workout. Got my pulse up for a good stretch there. Now I'm ready to see what we're gonna be able to get out of here. For my project I need 18.5-foot logs and 16.5-foot logs. So I'll take the measuring tape here and we'll measure this out. That looks like there's a curve in there, but that's just because of it's held up in that tree. It's a good straight log. Ideally I'd get two 18.5s, but sometimes I'll look at the crooks and different things and realize I'm better off just settling on two 16.5s or one of each. So Be the tail of the tape coming up here. So for my after breakfast workout, I'm going to end up with a 118.5 and 116.5. This log right here, of course it's fatter here at the end, we'll probably trim that down when we actually use it, but it's gonna, logs like this one, they're good for a 9 to 10 inch layer as I come up on that cabin. The end log down there now, on the fat end it's 8 inches and it tapers down to just under 7 for the other ends, but don't know if we'll use those or not, but then again we might use them on the higher layers as we get up higher. We'll may want to taper it down and use some smaller logs, but I've never done this before, so it's a work in progress, and if I mess up, I got hundreds of these trees that these larch beetles are going to kill in the next couple of years, so I'm just trying to retrieve some of them. Ones we don't use for the cabin, slab up for other purposes, or just have them in storage. As easy as these logs are to skid around, I really think that with a little pack trail that 13 horsepower snow dog is going to have no trouble pulling these over to the cabin. Maybe like the teams that had to pull a heavy load of logs, maybe we had to break it loose, give it a little shove at first, but once it's moving, I think there will be no problem at all. Well, that snow dog better work out, because I don't think I have enough friends to burn through on this project. May have started out as a plaid kind of day, but here by noon it's warmed up really good, especially out in the sun here. It's pretty hot. Nice ice cold Coca-Cola day. Fried up a few brats on the skillet inside. There's no sense in having a fire today. Get fortified with this, and want to take a hike out looking for some orchids on the way over to Hawks Pond, and haven't been out there in a few days, and see what's going on out there. After 3 days of lumberjacking, it sure feels good to be back out on the trail again. The vegetation has sure changed while I've been here. Smell rose blossoms. All appears quiet on Hawks Pond today. Last fall, when my sister Paula and her friend David, yeah, you know David, he's the guy that sat inside reading that book all day and didn't get any work out of him. Anyway, when out here he was in an ambitious mood, and that bench was really leaning down to the right, and he wanted to straighten it out. Well, I told him, no, it's bolted in and we can't do it. But when I was out the other day, I gave it a few tugs, and what bolts there were came right out, and I was able to shim it up and get a little more level. Surprisingly enough, even after over a month here at the cabin, I still have some of Bonnie's world famous cherry pies. Usually when I get down the last 5 or 6 days, I start counting things out pretty careful. So I think there were 4 pies in there this morning. So now we're down to 3. Maybe that's what Bet Bear was after. Maybe he's been watching YouTube and he knew about him. He was sure up to something. All these dragonflies are really doing a job out here. I haven't had a mosquito land on me yet. I never would have thought that after being here for just over a month now, that I realize now I'm down to 2 full days is all I have left. And it's pretty tempting to lose one of these. But I'll have had a total of 35 days up here, so I really need to get out of here. But it has been such a great trip. I was really afraid of the mosquitoes and the bugs that once I got around, the 1st of June and got a little later. But this year, so many times I could walk out there and the bugs are just a minor problem. Yeah, I can go down into the wet spots and I can get in the shade and I can find them. But there's so many hours that it's just so pleasant to be out there walking around and working in the woods without constantly just raking them off your face. So, 2 days to go. So much I'd like to do or not do. Mostly not do, just hang around. But it's time to go. I have several things on the to-do list before I take off. And one is I'm going to mow the yard for the 3rd time on this trip, which is a record. Usually I don't mow it at all. I really wouldn't have to mow it, but I kind of like to have people surprised when they come walking through the forests for all these miles, and then they walk up on a place like this and they walk into a mowed lawn and they look at things around. And I've heard back a few stories, and Chris, one of the hunters from further north, he knew about the place back there, but he'd never been here, and he came just wandering across country one time, and he walked in this way into this, and he walked into this mowed lawn and this well-kept place, and he's telling me the story, and he says, yeah, he says, I thought I was going to see Hansel and Gretel come popping across the lawn any time. And another time there was some young guys that were probably out hunting and following trails like I did, and one trail to another, and ended up all of a sudden they walked into this place. And it came at a time when the lawn was mowed in the fall and everything was looking good. But they were telling a friend of mine about it. They said, yeah, we found this place. We went in there and it's like, there was nobody there, but yet there was. And they were so spooked, they turned around and left. Yeah, so it's just, I'm gonna get her mowed up, make it look really nice. And sometimes people come back here looking for the orchids, so there are some visitors that show up back here in the middle of the summer. Not many, but every once in a while somebody does. As I pack up and head out of here, I'm going to miss the cabin, but I am not going to miss what I call these bullflies. Some of the locals I've heard the name bulldogs. And bulldogs might make a better name because they're just something that can drive you crazy. The bulldogs I'll be able to put behind me, but spring 2020 will be forever remembered as the year of the bear. Now, I found the droppings all over. I kept coming across trees like this where they were reaching up and they'd pull them down because their spring food is to eat the really tender leaves off the top. And with all the bears around, I felt it was time to get this sign up.